on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood, we ride strong and proud. Running up to score, Kings never back down. If you don't like that, this ain't your town.
An absolute blowout tonight. This game was no contest. The final score of 129-99. No De'Aaron Fox. It did not matter. I thought the Kings won this game in the first quarter. They came out and absolutely dictated every aspect of the game in the first quarter, outscoring the Warriors by 15. And the game really never was close. I mean, this game was over in the first couple of minutes if you really want to go back and look at it. But I thought the first quarter was so key to this game tonight, Ryan.
8 turnovers that they forced in the first quarter, Grant, and they dictated the terms of engagement tonight with the Warriors. They said, we're going to make it hard for you. We're going to make it physical. And you know what it led to? A more consistent whistle for the Kings' names.
Yeah, they did get a good whistle. And again, the Kings dictated every single aspect of the game. There's not one aspect of the game where I would say, yeah, you know, the Warriors had the better part of it. No, the Kings dominated this game from start to finish. And the other good thing is they didn't have to play their guys a lot of minutes. I think DeMar DeRozan had the most minutes of 31. Sabonis played 30. You know, it's a fairly early game. You have the Miami Heat tomorrow. They're having a lot of issues right now with the Jimmy Butler saga. So, you know, so far so good. Now you're 2 games under 500. You got to get the 500. That's the key to me to really get going again. And they're climbing up the mountain. They've still got a ways to go. But offensively, this team right now, everyone's scoring. Everyone is playing well offensively.
You had 7 guys in double digits before the fourth quarter started. That is something different. And Grant, that's a product of the ball moving. That's a product of everybody getting involved. The defense, how do I put this, Grant? They're in position. It is a little bit more simple, like Doug Christie has said. And now the Kings are stepping into shots as opposed to falling away with shots, which I think is a big difference for them.
Well, you talk about the passing. What have we always said? The magic number is 30, right? And we talked about this over and over again, that when the Kings do pass the ball, they're hard to beat. Tonight they had 31 assists, right? So to me, if you get that 30 number, you're going to win. And tonight they did. Listen, it's not like this Kings team forgot how to pass the ball. It just wasn't there this year as much as we've seen in the previous 2 years. Is that because of DeMar DeRozan? Is it because of something else? I don't know. But tonight the ball movement was beautiful.
Ball movement was absolutely gorgeous. Selfless, almost selfless to a degree at points. And Grant, the times the Kings stalled a little bit in the second quarter and then a tiny bit in the third quarter, I thought the really important timeout here in the second half was at 3:06. When Doug Christie called timeout, they did not have a point guard on the floor. And that's when he put Malik Monk back in the game for his last little run. And that's what pushed the lead out to 105-75 back to 30, which allowed Malik to sit the fourth quarter.
The game was over then, though. I understand what you're saying, getting the point guard back, but the game was over. I mean, and let's talk about Monk. How good was he tonight, particularly in the first half? I mean, his first half tonight, can you play any better than that, Ryan?
No, you can't. He was insane, out of his mind. And the bad plays that he sometimes makes, they were there to a degree, but the good outweighed the bad. He was getting away with it, and he knew exactly where Sabonis was. Grant, that combination makes each other better.
There's no question it makes each other better. And I know what's going to happen now. You're going to have the rumors, gee, are the Kings better off without De'Aaron Fox? Should they trade him because you know what's going to happen, right? And it's going to probably happen here on this show. So the answer to that question is don't make too much out of one game, whether it's a really good game or a really bad game. Tonight was really good. And I don't know about Fox's availability for tomorrow, but I do know this about tomorrow. Tomorrow, the team that you're playing will play defense. That much I do know. The Warriors tonight played 0 defense. Tomorrow, you'll get defended. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to lose tomorrow, but you'll get defended tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a different story with Miami. Now, can they shoot the three ball like the Warriors? Probably not. They shot 9 of
No,
45
right.
against the Jazz. But I guess it's the big C, Grant. It's the consistency. Can the Kings put together the same efforts that they have in this 4-game winning streak now, longest since last season, tomorrow night, and extend it to 5?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're taking on a team that's coming off a very bad home loss. You know, the Jazz went into Miami 2 nights ago and embarrassed them.
Very,
Embarrassed them,
yep,
right?
very much so. That's what, Grant, what will drama do to a team? What does this distraction do to a team?
Well, it can go either way, to be honest with you. And if you don't think the Jimmy Butler situation is not distraction, you're fooling yourself because
Yeah.
the Players Association is appealing this suspension.
That's right. That's exactly right. As they should. They absolutely should.
There's
AB.
no question the guys are playing hard and with pride right now. There's no doubt about that. So, I mean, so far, so good. I mean, so far, so. And listen, you're going to call me a Debbie Downer. You can call me whatever you want. I've been doing this for a long time. Let's just face it, okay? Other than tonight, you could not have had a better scenario this week. You played Dallas without anyone. You played Philadelphia without Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre, all right? And you played Memphis without John Morant. So you took advantage of it, which is what you need to do. You must take advantage when you have these type of breaks. And the Kings did that. And out of all the games the Kings have played this week, I was most impressed with tonight because in the past, when the Kings have not had De'Aaron Fox, they've fallen all over themselves. They've stumbled. Tonight, they didn't stumble. They actually got better.
They got better. This was the best 3 quarters of basketball they have played in the last season and a half. Hands
I
down,
agree.
Grant.
I agree.
And to your point, I get what you're saying. You are right. But also, that's been the story of the Kings for the last year and a half. Most times when they are playing a team, they're without a good player. They're without a couple of guys, and they still stumble. And so the fact that they're taking care of their business, I don't know if you heard what Trey Lyles said. Trey Lyles gave the most direct answer out of any King through this Beam Team run about why they struggle against teams with guys out. It was basically, I'm going to paraphrase, a lack of respect for the game, a lack of effort, and it was music to my ears, something we never heard when Mike was here.
Well, you know, actions speak louder than words. Just go out and win, right? Just go out and win the games you're supposed to. Again, the Kings are 17 and 19 now, so they're working their way back into this thing. And let's face it, we talk about this. You still have a brutal schedule coming up here very soon.
Yes, the road trip's going to be nasty.
Yes, so you got to win these home games. And tonight they went on the road and beat the Warriors team and embarrassed them. Let's face it, the Warriors were embarrassed tonight. The Kings embarrassed them, right?
They were taking out. Yeah, they absolutely did. They were taken out of everything they wanted to do, Grant. They were on the run. You notice how, like, the Kings, Grant, when they weren't playing well at the start of this season, they were scattered. They were being taken out of what they wanted to do.
Yep.
Shots that normally go in weren't going in. The Kings did that to the Warriors tonight. That's exactly what they did.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Hey, I want to tell you that we are brought to you by Bennett's Restaurant, Sacramento, Roseville, and the West Side Grill. Prime seafood and steak at Bennett's. Awesome. You will love it. Don't forget about their happy hours every day, 2 to 6, their sips and taste. That's Bennett's, Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Prime seafood and steak. You will absolutely love it. And don't forget about their great weekend brunch. Also brought to you by New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. Just go to sackserviceplumbing.com, or I prefer newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRX plumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. And remember, they're available 24/7. And one other note, a rant with Grant coming up in a little bit. So if you have some rant ideas, let me have them. As not only are the Kings on a win streak, you got the end of the NFL regular season tonight. So we got a lot going on, Ryno.
The season comes and goes so quick, Napes. It feels like it was just week 1. It's insane.
I know.
But hey,
amazing.
Get your rant ideas because I have one already for Grant.
Okay.
So hopefully yours will be better than mine.
Are you not going to tell me? You're gonna let me hang?
Well, I'll tell you. How about the NBA being so desperate for All-Star votes that you can now submit pre-filled out ballots for your team?
What do you mean pre-filled out ballots? What do you mean by that?
Pre-filled out. So all your team's players that are eligible to make the All-Star game, they're already filled in for you. You just got to send it to the NBA.
You know how I feel about this stuff. I've never, ever thought that fans should have anything to do with all-star voting or
Agreed.
postseason awards. Fans should not, okay, not have anything to do with all-stars. I want to get back to this super chat, okay? You obviously did not hear what I said about Doug Christie, all right? I said I have no problem with Doug Christie, okay, being the coach, all right? And the super chat donations are greatly appreciated. What I said was he did not deserve it, okay? He's fourth on the Kings bench when they had Mike Brown, okay? He was not in, it was not his turn. That's what I said. I didn't say that I had a problem with Doug Christie. I said that he didn't deserve it. I said if I were Doug and I was in his situation, okay, that I would have done the same thing, that I would have accepted the job. But the reality is that's not the way things work in professional sports. Jay Triano is the guy that should have gotten the job. Now, could have Jay done as good a job as the Kings have done this week? I don't have a crystal ball. That's what I said. I didn't say I had a problem with Doug Christie. I said that my personal differences with Doug have nothing to do with him being in this position. Nothing. Zero. I made that very clear last week. So stop bringing that nonsense up, okay? I have nothing against Doug coaching the Kings. My differences with Doug have nothing to do with basketball. Nothing. So they're separate. So leave them separate, would you please?
You know, I'm starting to feel special because I'm starting to get hit with some of these now. Somebody sent me a video the other day on X. Somebody sent me a video and they're like, Ryan in Sacktown wants to trade Fox for TJ McConnell. Look at how ridiculous is this take? So I'm getting it now. So it's okay, buddy. We'll get through this.
It's exactly what it is. I know what I said. I know how I feel. Again, I'll tell you the one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to talk about this every show. So if you want to keep asking me stupid questions, we have two ways. I'll just hide you from the channel, okay, or put you on a timeout. My differences with Doug Christie have nothing to do with the Sacramento Kings. Nothing. They're not related. So don't make them related. And I'm objective, okay? I have had many differences with people that I've covered in the past, and it has not affected my objectivity in terms of giving someone credit or criticizing them. Never. And I'm not going to start now at age 65. So don't worry about it.
So real quick, you said that it wouldn't be unexpected that this team gets a bump with a coaching change.
Correct. Jerry said that first, and then I said it second.
Okay, so what's going to be your litmus test where you might start to draw a line in the sand?
When they start playing good teams at full strength.
Okay. All right.
They haven't done that yet.
All right. Fair enough.
All right.
Let's get to the phone. Sean, you are batting leadoff. What's going on tonight?
Hey there, Grant. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Sean.
What's up,
How are
Sean?
you?
Yeah, before I give the Kings their flowers, which they deserve.
Flowers? Flowers?
Well, you know.
I want to see you walk
good words.
I want to see you walk in to the Kings, stand outside their bus tonight, and hand them flowers and see what happens.
Right. No, I'm not going to hand them flowers. They're still not over 500. It's more of a figure of speech. But one of my favorite people, Bill Walton, I just wanted to, before I give the Kings credit, I kind of want to give a little eulogy to the Warriors. So bear with me. I'm not going to use any profanity. They were once warriors. They were once gladiators. Years and years, everybody knew their names. But now we're looking at the Warriors in a different Coliseum. And Lindy Waters is one of the players' names. So I'll just leave it there. I think the Warriors are in for a rebuild. I think Bob Myers was smart to get out of that sinking ship. But like you said, Grant, no one deserves flowers. So I'm going to kind of pull back on that.
Don't last forever. And the Warriors were a dynasty. And every team in the league wishes that they could have just had the run that the Golden State Warriors had. Every single team. So you can, spend time in your room and write as many poems as you want. The reality is you're right. And the other reality is every team in the league wishes they just had the run that the Warriors had.
Oh yeah, everyone would take it bar none. So I'm going to be more realistic about the Kings. We're still under 500. We still have a very hard schedule coming. I don't think you can necessarily point to too many things that say that Doug Christie is the second coming of Red Auerbach. He did a couple things. I hear he's running more set plays for DeMar. He's using Keon Ellis more, things like that we can agree on. But other than that, it's the post fired coach bump. Everyone's looking at themselves in the mirror, and you know, I'm more optimistic now than I was maybe 2 weeks
Okay.
ago. But I'm wondering how you guys
Well,
are
thank you
feeling.
for the call. You can take it off the air. We do appreciate that. So far, he's doing an excellent job. I mean, he's 4-1.
Yep.
And so you have to give him credit where credit is due. But it's a 6-month season. It's not a 1-week season. And I thought they would get a bump from the coaching change, but I didn't think they would get a bump like this in terms of their offense. I thought they would get a bump for a week or two, but I didn't think it would result in this type of offensive output.
Yeah, and I would say communication to me is the biggest thing that seems to be a little bit different. There's a few things Doug has drawn in the sand that said they're non-negotiable, but relating to the players, it's a little bit more direct. And I don't know if it's the players because Doug played, he's been through it here in Sacramento before, but it seems like they're a little bit more open to hearing what he has to say and the way he's running things. So we'll see if it continues. That's the big thing.
Appreciate the donation there on the super chat. Amir Grant, you're a class act and have always been. You already know where I stand. King's doing well so far under DC, but it changes nothing. Trader, much love, Grant. Amir, I appreciate that. Again, I'm going to make this very clear. My lack of respect for Doug is based on what happened to me when I got fired by Bonneville International. All right. It has nothing to do with the Sacramento Kings. I know that a lot of people are going to find that hard to believe, but I speak the truth. I speak the truth. So one has nothing to do with the other. And my lack of respect for Doug is not going to affect me giving him props or not going to affect me criticizing him when it's justified as the interim coach of the Sacramento Kings. It's not. They're not related. So I appreciate that, Amir, but they're not related.
To those asking in the chat how to call, you can use the QR code on the screen or the link is floating around in the chat. Just click on that, much like Dennis did. Dennis, welcome on tonight.
Hey guys, how you? Thank you so much for the call.
Thank you for calling, Dennis. What can we do for you?
Oh, I'm just so happy. I know Grant. I called in last time. You said, "Hey, it's a small sample size," and I agreed with you. It is. Everything's small right now. Monk is finally 8-8 in the starting lineup. You know,
He played great tonight. He
no,
played
he's
great.
so amazing. And I agree with you, Grant. Everything's small sample size. We got a new coach now, and as I watched them tonight, there was a couple times where I'm like, no, 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 no. And it was one play from Keon. I was like, oh no, he took a bad shot. But then on the developing play, we got to stop and guess who delivered? Keon.
Yeah,
Same thing
Keon
with
was very good tonight.
and
Because,
same thing with Devin. I was like, okay, well, Devin's trying to find his rhythm, obviously. But Devin took a shot. And I was like, that's not a good shot. But on the developing play, we got to stop. Devin delivered on the other end, and we weren't getting that from Mike. And if anybody wants to blame Mike Brown being fired, it was me. I'm sorry. Okay, I called for it. I said something's got to change, and this was the breath of fresh air we needed. We needed Doug in there. And Grant, whatever how you feel like he's not deserving or whatever, just give him time. Let him grow on you.
I didn't say I'm not going to give him time. Have you ever heard me say I'm not giving him time? Not once does that come out of my mouth.
Grant. I'm just saying for other people that come in and harp on you and negatively you. Grant has his own opinion. Ryno has his own opinion. Dennis has his own opinion. Everybody has his own opinion. But one thing we all love is Kings winning. That's it. Thank you,
Amen,
guys.
Dennis.
Have a good night.
Light the beam. Hey, you know what else really impressed me tonight, Ryan, that we
What's
haven't
that?
discussed? Domantas Sabonis played 30 minutes and had 0 turnovers.
Great stat. Great point, Grant. Great point. And that's partially because you weren't asking him to administrate. You were asking him to go down low and do what he does best. And that mid-range shot, that 3, definitely helps that process as well. Andy, what's going on tonight?
Hey, what's going on, Grant and Ryno?
Hey,
What's up,
Andy.
dude?
I'm doing pretty good. I just really had one quick question for both of you guys. I think Keon has looked tremendous in the starting lineup again. And I was just wondering when Fox comes back. I mean, we've seen the lineup without Keegan, and now we've seen the lineup without Fox. Obviously, Fox is not going to go to the bench. But I was just wondering, what is your guys' best starting 5 moving forward?
Well, to me, it's Fox and Monk with Murray, DeRozan, and Sabonis. And if I was going to take anyone out of the starting lineup, I agree with Ryan 100%. I would take DeRozan out of the starting lineup. I would not take anyone else out. If I was going to change the lineup when Fox comes back, which might be tomorrow, I haven't heard that. Ryan, have you heard anything about his availability for tomorrow? I have not heard
I have
yet.
not, no.
Okay, but I would listen. Let's not kid anyone. Monk's starting and Fox is starting. That's not negotiable. They're starting. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Yeah, I do. But Memphis had to change their lineup because Doug still kept Keon in, and they took Edie out. So
Yes, they took Edie out. Right.
There's an element of making teams adjust to you. There's just some nights you're not going to be able to do that, Grant.
Correct. There are going to be some nights when you're not going to be able to do that. So, but I'm not going to. How am I going to start Keon Ellis when Fox comes back?
You can't. It's very hard. I think the solution is the one that we both reached, and I think Jerry has even talked about that as well with DeRozan. What about you, Andy? What would be yours?
Honestly, I feel like I really like the idea of DeRozan going to the bench. Kind of just he can truly run that second unit. He's looked pretty good in the last couple games with our pace. But a lot of times I hear people say like DeRozan kind of slows down that pace because he's so ball centric.
Yep.
And he's always, pounding the rock a couple times just to get into his, shot pretty much.
Yep.
But honestly, I would just play Keon more. Mike Brown had a couple DNPs, which is crazy to think. And, some games he's only playing 5 to 10 minutes. But if he's the first man off the bench, when Fox comes out around that 6-minute mark, I think him and Malik could run that final 6 minutes. And I think not Devin Carter. I think Keon coming off the bench, in that 6-minute mark, if he can play around 25 to 30 minutes a game, I think that would be very, very good for us.
Well, thanks for the call.
Thanks,
Really
Andy.
appreciate that. Really, when you look at this game tonight, if you want to, harp on somebody, DeMar DeRozan was probably the only player on the Kings that didn't play well tonight.
Yeah,
Everyone else played, right?
Yeah, 100%. He was asked to play that backup point guard role to a degree, and that's not really his thing. And that's why Andy said the game slows down when you do that. It shows that for as many guards as this Kings team has, they need a true backup point guard that can put pressure on the defense and distribute. If you do that, that changes the dynamic of this team greatly, Grant.
Tremendous. It changes the dynamic completely. Absolutely.
So, Dirk, what's going on tonight?
Hey, Dirk.
Hey guys. Right in line with that. How would you grade Devin Carter so far?
I think Devin's defense has been ahead of what you usually see with his rookie or of a rookie, but I think his offense is going to be a big time work in progress. But Grant, lucky for the Kings, they don't need his offense right now.
His defense is Davion Mitchell. Would you agree?
I think it's a little bit better than Davion Mitchell right off.
Okay, but it's the same type of impact that you get when you put a player like that in the game.
Yeah.
Small sample size, but I think he distributes way better than Davion Mitchell.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
He's missed a couple alley-oop passes though. I mean, that's the little fix.
Again, the guy was out for. He played college basketball back in March, Okay, and
Big
hasn't
East
played
tournament.
until this past
Yeah.
week with the G League Stockton Kings, and then 2 games in the NBA. So let's give him a little bit of time, okay?
Yeah.
I am. I'm super excited for him. I mean, the
Okay.
energy around his debut game was pretty crazy. I give him a solid like B minus. I think he found some of the touch tonight with some of the shots, and I just like his aggressiveness. Doesn't seem to lack confidence, and he's not making a lot of mistakes either. Missing shots is one thing, but
He's got a high basketball IQ. He
Right.
grew up in a basketball, prodigy, with his father, and he's been around the game since he was old enough to walk. So his IQ, you can tell he's got a great feel of the game.
Yeah.
absolutely, and it just makes you think moving forward if the Kings are going to make a move, they got a lot of decisions to make. But hey,
Look,
I mean, this Miami game tomorrow would be huge. I have never liked playing Miami, even the win earlier this year. The Kings pulled one out. They always play us tough. I don't care if Jimmy Butler is there or not. Eric Spoelstra brings it with those guys. So I think Doug will have some good energy like to get these guys hyped. So it'll be a key determinant for me. I mean, a 5-game winning streak would be huge. I don't want to, 4 is pretty amazing too, but man, if you could get this Miami game tomorrow, it'd be huge.
I
Thanks
agree.
very
Anyway,
much.
have a good night,
Appreciate it
guys.
very much. Somebody said, does Grant know that the All-Star game, Sean said, does Grant not know the NBA All-Star game is for the fans? Name me one game. Name me any game, whether it's high school, whether it's your son or daughter's 5th grade school, whether it's junior high school, whether it's Division III, Division II, whether it's Ryan at San Diego State or Grant Napier at Bowling Green, or it's AAA baseball with the River Cats, or it's the Kings. Name me one game that's not for the fans. The fact that the All-Star game is for the fans is a bunch of crap. The All-Star game is not for the fans. You know what the All-Star game is for? It's for network TV. Okay. That's what the All-Star game is for. All right. Stop being delusional about this. You're going to watch the NBA All-Star game or MLB All-Star game. Why you're going to watch it, I don't know, but you're going to watch it regardless of whether you were able to vote for the players or not. The bottom line is a player or players every year make the team that don't deserve to be on the team because of the stupidity of the fan voting that is allowed by the NBA. It's a popularity contest. It is a bad system. So don't tell me that the All-Star game is for the fans. Name me a game that's not for the fans.
Well put. Preston, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Grant, I know they still need to climb out of a hole, but if the Kings keep playing like this, could you see them fighting for the playoffs?
I'm not going to go there until they get to 500. They're not a 500 yet. I said this last week. I said it 2 weeks ago. I said it 3 weeks ago. Until this team gets to 500, I can't use the word that begins with P.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Steve, what's going on tonight?
What's up, Ryno? What's up, Grant?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, I wanted one thing, Grant, from you. One thing.
Yes, sir.
Can we please get if you don't like that, you don't like NBA Kings basketball, baby? One time. One time.
Sure. You can get that. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. Oh, boy.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you, Grant. Good night, Ryno.
Good night, Steve.
See? People
Look at
say
that.
I'm being negative. I'm not nice. I just made that guy's.
Yeah.
I just made Steve's night. Did I not?
How could you call that negative?
I know.
Come on.
You know.
Look at that. Look, I've been talking, Grant. This is not going to be popular. I'm taking it around town for it, but I'm going to stand by it. This team is better or could be better with the right move without De'Aaron Fox.
I agree.
I know this is a 1-game sample size, but it's bigger than the 1-game sample size. It's the style of basketball and the output that you get from everybody else. Because as you've said, a basketball team is a puzzle. It's pieces that fit, and De'Aaron just does not fit this puzzle.
I do not disagree with you. Now, the question is, if they're going to make a move of this magnitude, then what type of a player would you want back in return?
You definitely need probably a 3-and-D. You need another guy that can guard out on the wing. but you also need a good, solid backup point guard. Malik Monk can run this team. There's going to be nights where he's a little bit off, but he's still going to put guys into positions. And if I have to take what I get from Fox in terms of intensity and energy and the way it's directed, sometimes at the refs, sometimes at others, versus the energy you get from Malik, it's a whole different ball game. And I'm not putting Fox down. Then maybe you set up a little bit, you get a pick here, another shooter. This team, I've been saying recalibration, not rebuild. I think you have a better chance of making the playoffs without De'Aaron Fox because the ball doesn't stop.
Well, it's January, 5th?
Mm-hmm.
So the trade deadline is what, in 4 weeks? Going to be an interesting couple of weeks coming up, Ryan.
It is. Jerry thought that they should not breach that topic until at least the draft this year. What's your thoughts on it?
Repeat that again, please.
Jerry thought they should not, the Kings, really start addressing the Fox trades or talking about trades until the NBA draft. He thought that would be the proper time to possibly trade him.
Interesting. Okay. And did he give a reason for that?
He just thought teams are a little bit more in need. They fall in love with certain players.
Okay.
We know this draft is a little bit top heavy with Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Last year's draft, not as good. So do you agree with that? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have a problem with that, but I think a lot depends on what your record is leading up to the week of the trade deadline.
Sure. And
Right?
look, yeah, it's a good point. And look at the schedule leading up to the week of the trade deadline. It's getting really difficult for this team, but four in a row.
But you again, look at the road trip coming up. You still have to play Oklahoma City 2 times. You still have to play Memphis 2 times. You still have to play Boston 2 times. You have to play Cleveland 2 times. You have to play the Knicks 2 times. Milwaukee, you have to play 2 times. I mean, let's face it. You got a lot of tough games coming up.
You do, and you should for the next one against the Warriors see them again without Kuminga.
Yes,
he's out 3 weeks, so a little bit of a silver lining.
They miss him, boy.
Oh yes, they do. They absolutely do.
They miss him.
Luis,
go ahead.
Luis, what's going on tonight?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, how
Hey,
about
Luis.
those Kings, huh?
Good game tonight, man. Complete 100% domination. Men against boys tonight.
Yes, sir. I want to talk about De'Aaron Fox. Why doesn't he fit in this team?
It's not a De'Aaron Fox personal issue. It's De'Aaron Fox's game. If you're asking these guys to play a free-flowing style of basketball, it's nearly impossible to have a play. Go ahead.
That's nice in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoff, you guys know those last 5 minutes of every basketball game is going to be a half-court game. You need a scorer that can close games. You need that superstar on the championship team to close games. It's free-flowing offense is great in the regular season, but we both know in the playoffs you need a player like that.
So what's DeMar DeRozan, Luis?
We got to make the playoffs first.
DeMar's too old now, man. DeMar's a closer, yes, but he's not what he used to be. He's downclimbing in his career right now.
Okay. What about Malik Monk?
Malik's a role player, man. He's a super role player, but you can't expect him to close. He's very inconsistent. We've seen him be up and down.
Okay, you could make the exact same argument about De'Aaron Fox. Who brought the Kings back or extended the lead against Memphis? Malik getting to the free throw line.
Yep.
And it's his partner, but I didn't hear you guys talking this way about Fox in the playoffs when he was destroying the Warriors up until he messed up his finger.
That was eons ago. That was like another life ago. Forget about what happened in the playoffs 2 years ago. That has no relevance to what's going on in 2025. No relevance in any way, shape, or form. You know who else was? If you want to go back there, you know who your coach was that year?
That was Mike Brown.
Well, that's right. And what happened that year? What award did Mike Brown win?
He sat Davion down in the second half.
What award did he win?
He won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, a unanimous for the first time in NBA. And where's Mike Brown right now?
He got fired.
Yes, okay. So stop talking about 2 years ago because it doesn't mean a damn thing right now in 2025. Nothing. Means nothing. So stop talking about it.
Okay, and what's going on with this Doug Christie disrespect thing? I get that he was maybe the third coach down the bench, but I'm sure that within the organization that they saw that he connected with the players a different way than
Good.
everybody else
Then
did.
you know
And
what?
I'm
Good.
sure
Then
that's why he got the job.
Then that's fine. I gave you my opinion that I thought it was wrong. So if you disagree with me, I don't have a problem with you disagreeing with me. I'm just going on my history of being in the NBA for 5 decades.
Oh,
That
I
is
mean,
unheard of.
you're talking about not
Wait a
bringing up
minute.
the
It's
past, but you're
unheard
bringing up
of.
how Doug Christie
Oh my God.
disrespected
Get
you
him
for
off
getting
here, would you
fired.
please? Goodbye. Goodbye. You're not going to listen to me. You're going to believe what you want. You don't care what I have to say because in your mind, you already have it's set in stone. So no matter what I say, it's not going to matter to you. So I'm not going to waste my time talking with you. All right.
He's setting you up for his response. He already has his response written down. He knows where he's going.
Oh, he wrote it down.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably did. He had a nice little roadmap there. No, like if you've been paying attention to this channel since this last summer, this isn't a new thing. This De'Aaron Fox talk from me.
No,
this has been going on. I've said it. I'm on the record a year before this that they're better without him. So it's crazy. Come on, man. Long time ago. Let's see. Callie Henry, 1989. Welcome to the show tonight.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How
nice
you doing?
forehead, nice hair. Can we see your face?
Yeah.
I'm looking a little rough right now. I haven't
Oh, no
shaved.
problem. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. We appreciate the effort.
No worries, man. I just wanted to talk about how this narrative between Malik Monk taking all the star power from De'Aaron.
First of all, Malik Monk is not taking the star power away from De'Aaron. I don't agree with that at all.
That's crazy. Okay, we've been asking, and Grant, I've done this on this show. We done it a couple weeks ago. We've been asking the question. I have been asking the question to people around the team, people that cover the team, to all of you. Do De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis make each other better? And unequivocally, the answer is Domas makes Fox better.
No question.
Does De'Aaron make Domas better? Either it's a no answer or it's a no. Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis make each other better, and it's not a Malik personal thing. It is Malik's style of basketball.
It's the truth.
It's how Malik plays the game.
Right. It's the truth.
It's nothing personal against De'Aaron. It's just like if you ask James Harden to go make Domas better. It doesn't fit together. And that's why you've had 8 seasons with 1 playoff berth that also involved Domas, Grant. It's crazy.
It's easy to see, is it not?
I feel like it is. It's nothing personal. It is what it is.
I mean,
get a poll?
Certain people work better with other people, not only in sports, but in other walks of life, right?
Yes. Or if you want to hitch your wagon to Fox, trade Domas.
Hey, Doug Christie was a good analyst with me, but he wasn't Jerry Reynolds with me. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a great point. Yep.
It's like certain things work better than other things. Doesn't mean that the first example is a failure. Like, we wouldn't say that De'Aaron and Domantas Sabonis are a failure. We're not saying that.
No.
We're just saying that Monk and Sabonis work better. That's all.
And it works better for the team. Look at the shots everybody else gets. Look at the turnovers. Look at the transition. It's just really clear sometimes. And to Coach Brown's credit, he went, when he put Malik in the starting lineup, more to that pick and roll offense. Doug's made a couple more tweaks here and there, but that's what's kind of sparked this. You realize this turned around to a degree because of the way that Malik Monk plays the game with Domantas Sabonis. You do realize that, Sacramento.
It's pretty obvious to me.
I mean, come on. Let's see. Otis, what's going on tonight, Otis?
Hey, Otis.
How's it going, fellas? How's everybody? How you guys doing tonight? I'm good. Thanks for letting me on. Yeah, so I'll chime in a little bit with what you guys are already kind of talking about. I mean, this Fox now, the one that's jacking up all these threes, I'll take the one 4 years ago where he's just driving to the basket, kind of sticking to the 2-point range. I think if he would kind of lay back on the 3-pointers and just kind of, just be that guy that will drive to the basket and draw the foul, I think he'd be more productive. But this new Fox, yeah, you guys are probably right. We're probably better off without him. you guys also talked about well, first of all, Grant, I know like a couple shows ago you were like you want to see how the Kings do against Memphis before you kind of see, the measuring stick. I don't think you were thinking Morant playing or not playing. So, but I'm just kind of curious, what are you thinking about him
Well, I
now?
just like what I'm seeing offensively. I like the ball movement more than anything else. When I made that comment, I didn't realize that John Moran had a shoulder injury, and obviously that's their best player. So you got to break there.
Yeah.
But I like what I'm seeing offensively. I like the ball movement probably more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. So, another thing, just going away from that, I think that if we were to trade Fox, I think if we would get a backup center, we definitely need a backup center, maybe even someone who could play alongside Sabonis at times in the game. Because I mean, I think Bonus is a true power forward. I mean, he gets he gets no blocks or whatever. But I think if we were to trade Fox, I hate to see him go, but if we were to get a two-way player, someone plays good defense, get a center out there, I think it'd probably be worth it. And then my last thing, man, I would just say is that I'm super excited about this. I watched the game with my son, and it's starting to be pretty depressing watching the Kings. So I'll take these wins, man. Bringing good times in my home. So pretty excited about it.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your phone call, and call again, please. Thank you very much. Hey, it is time for a rant with Grant. And a rant with Grant is brought to you by EDH Motors. You go to edhmotors.com. You can see that everything that David and Adam will do for you. Again, EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. You go to the website. You can look at all the different, they have many vehicles to choose from. But here's the key. If you don't find what you're looking for, David and Adam will get it for you. And you don't have to go to a dealership. You're going to save time and really probably money. And you're going to have some fun, too. You take delivery at their auto lounge in the El Dorado Hills Town Center. Again, edhmotors.com will get you all the information. This is a long overdue concept from David and Adam. Check it out at edhmotors.com. The one thing that is a constant in sports is overreaction when things go bad and when things go well. The NBA season is a long season. It started in the middle of October. We're in the first week of January. It will go until the middle of April and then maybe beyond. This season doesn't come down to 1 week, whether it's one good week or one bad week. The NBA season is about consistency, and it's about a little bit of luck. Your schedule, when you play a team, are you playing them at full strength? Are you playing them with injuries? The Kings won a game tonight without De'Aaron Fox. That's big. They won some games earlier this year without Malik Monk. Big. They lost them too. But the point is, good teams find ways to win games when key players are out. Memphis is a prime example of that when they lost John Moran for a couple of weeks earlier in the season, and they were able to win. I understand the Kings fans are excited right now, but it's 1 week. What's going to happen when this team loses 2 games in a row, which they will lose 2 games in a row at some point, probably sooner rather than later? Will they stay together? How will they react? All right. That's all part of learning now about this quote unquote new team because Doug has taken over as interim coach. So I understand the excitement. But I'm looking at the chat line, and, it's like the Kings won a championship this week. No, they didn't win a championship. They're playing better. Offensively, they're playing a hell of a lot better, but they're still 2 games under 500, and they're still not a top 10 team in the West. So you got to keep climbing. You got to keep getting better. And you have to wait and see what happens when you go on the road and play at Boston, when you play at Milwaukee, right? These are going to be great measuring stick games for this team. So I'm not saying don't be excited. I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying, look at the big picture. Don't look at this as a 1 or 2 game capsule. Look at it, the big picture. This has been a really good week as we start a new week here. Been a good week. What about this week? Will it be a good week? Just kind of look at the big picture. That's it. Look at the big picture. That's all I'm asking. And that's my rant for today.
You were in the big picture there, buddy. You were the big picture for a second.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Probably bad because I'm not the best thing to look at. So I prefer a little picture to when I look at myself. I don't like right now. Perfect. I can't really see myself that well. Keep me small like that. That's
All
what I
right,
prefer.
you got it. Okay, so I like your rant. So let's go through this. The Kings just finished 5 games. Here's their next 5. Miami, then you're at Boston, you're at Chicago, you're at Milwaukee, you're home against Houston, and you're home against Washington. What's your expectation for this 5?
My expectations are to win tomorrow. I think Miami's having a lot of problems right now. I think you lose at Boston. If Milwaukee is at full strength, I think you lose there. I think you beat Chicago. I think you lose at home against Houston. I think you beat Washington. Am I forgetting anyone there?
No, you got all 5.
Okay.
You're actually kind of catching Boston at a good time. They've been kind of up and down as of late, and they like to rely on that 3 ball so damn much. But
Yeah, they do.
That's where
Boy,
the
Oklahoma
matchup.
City beat them up, huh?
They did. Oklahoma City, Grant, are they hitting their stride too early, or is this their West?
No, they're the real deal. They beat Boston 105-92.
92.
And that's unusual for a Boston team. And I'm looking at their lineup. They had everybody. They played Brown, White, Holiday,
Yep.
Porzingis, and Tatum. So, but here's the other deal. Boston at home, different team than on the road. Boston at the Garden, I'm going to go and just give you an idea of how good they are at home, all right?
Yeah.
First of all, they're good on the road. They're good at home. But the Boston Celtics at home, well, actually, they're not as good as I thought. I'm sorry. They're 13-6 at home. My bad. Cleveland's really good at home. They're 18-1. And let's look at Milwaukee. They're not great at home. They're 11-7. So what do you think the Kings, you gave me the 5 games. What do you think the Kings record will be?
I think their record will be 2-3, but I do think they get 1 out of Boston and Milwaukee. I'm just not sure which one.
You know, again, you're playing Miami tomorrow, even though you played tonight, but you didn't extend yourselves. Miami's lost 6 of 10 games, and they lost 2 in a row. And I just think this Jimmy Butler thing's got this organization in a big time distraction mode because the players have to address that every single day when they meet the media.
No doubt. The one thing that's encouraging for me, especially like a team like Miami, where you got Tyler Hero can shoot the 3 ball anywhere in the gym. The Kings are lowering the amount of attempts that they're giving up to teams slowly. And so if they're able to play that game with Miami, especially no Jimmy Butler, that gives you that kind of change of pace, I think you can have a good result. And like you said, the guys got rest. Malik did not play the 4th quarter. Domas barely played the 4th quarter. So I don't think you're walking into a much better situation to make this 5-game winning streak, right?
I agree with you. I think the Kings will win. I'm going to call it right now, whether Fox plays tomorrow or not. I think they'll beat Miami tomorrow.
There you go. Matthew, welcome in on the conversation. You're on with Grant and Ryno.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
How are you?
Good.
Go ahead. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, go right ahead. What's your question?
Hi. So I know it's just one game, but we were talking about how Fox kind of stops the ball when he has it. So I'm thinking when he comes back, I want to know how you guys feel about potentially Doug Christie doing this. If they have Malik kind of initiate more offense and kind of bring the ball up over half court and kind of just tell Fox, like, okay, you can be like our go-to scorer kind of thing, like kind of how DeRozan is now, where he kind of just focuses on scoring. And you allow Malik to handle a lot of the more playmaking duties and allow Fox to just do what he does and get downhill. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
My hesitation, the Kings have been trying to do this, by the way. When Malik went into the starting lineup, he was the one bringing it up, and you had Fox coming off of screens, getting downhill without the ball. Now you have 2 different players that you have to make a point to play 2-man games with between Sabonis and Fox. And don't forget, you still got DeRozan on the court. And I just don't see, Grant, how you can play the style where Trey Lyles is running the floor, catch and shoot 3s. Same thing with Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, where everybody's getting a share of the action with those 3 on the court together, Napes.
I'm with you. I don't think it can happen. I'm skeptical about that. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I was actually going to ask about the next 5 game stretch that the Kings have, but you guys already covered it. I feel like they could go 3-2 because I feel like they match up well against Milwaukee. They have the last 2 years, and this team hasn't really changed that much.
They blew the game last year. If you remember,
I don't know,
Malik
that's just
missed
me.
2
I don't
free
know how you
throws
guys
that
feel
would
about
have. All he needed to do was make one, and they win at Milwaukee. So I'm with you. I agree with that.
Yeah, the Sunday game is a little bit weird. The Sunday 1-12 game against Chicago, it's a 12:30 start our time. That's early for the Kings. They don't usually perform well in those, but
Very true.
Washington and Houston, that's where I get caught up where they could possibly go 3-2 because I liked how they played against Houston the first time around. And then Washington, the Kings' MO, Grant, is usually playing down to your competition.
Boy, if they lose to Washington, good Lord, they're freaking awful.
Yeah.
But, Chicago is – I don't like the start time there either, but they're not very good. They're 16-19. But, so are the Kings. So, let's see. One game at a time. Win the game tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah,
Matthew.
focus on tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Keep doing what you guys do.
Thank you. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks very much for calling, and call again. Don't forget about Sunrise Landing, Calusa's newest residential community. You go to calusasunrise.com and check out everything from Blazona Development. That's beautiful Sunrise Landing with no Mellorews, no homeowners on all of these models to choose from. Good access, I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. And adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Again, go to calusasunrise.com and get all the information on Sunrise Landing. That's calusasunrise.com. Tomorrow, all right, I'm going to come on at 5 o'clock. We will talk about the NFL regular season in the books. You're going to have a King score tomorrow at 2?
Absolutely, 2 p.m.
So you got Ryan at 2. I'll come on at 5. Ryan will have the pregame show. Then Jerry Reynolds joins us at halftime, and then we'll have the postgame. So a busy day tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Little NFL at 5, little NBA, little Kings at 5 o'clock. We're getting it going. But don't forget, 2 o'clock, the Kings Court with Ryan and Sack.
Actually, 1 o'clock. My bad. We're going to do 1 o'clock tomorrow. That's my bad. And I can't end the show without putting a couple of these things up. By the way, super chat, thank you very much. Miami's road trip looks very weird. Utah in the middle of their West Coast road trip. Is that normal, Napes?
I don't understand. Why would you? What's the problem with that? Why is that weird?
It's asking
why
you.
Why is that weird? Help me out with that.
Well, unless they were, I don't know what they played before that. I remember where the Kings had a weird one this year where they went to, I think it was Atlanta to Toronto and then back to Miami.
And yes, that was a little weird, but I'm trying to get help me out with this. What is weird about what we just they were at home and lost to Utah and gave up 136. Here's the other part about tomorrow's game. If they gave up 136 points to Utah, the Kings, why can't the Kings go in there and score 140 on them?
100%. It's such a good point.
But I mean, listen, let me go over the road trip. At Sacramento, at Golden State, at Utah, at Portland, at the Clippers, at the Lakers. What's weird about that? There's nothing weird about that.
Are you saying because you're going further?
It's an hour and 15 minutes from Sacramento to Salt Lake City. Let's not get carried away here, okay?
Well,
it's an hour and freaking 15 minutes.
You did it for 30 plus years, so you tell us.
The only problem if you're Miami in going to Utah, it would be if it's a back-to-back because you lose an hour. But they have a day off between Golden State and Utah. Folks, get a map out, would you please? Like, get a freaking map out. Salt Lake City and Sacramento are really not – it's not that far. And let's not get carried away here. We're not saying that they got to go play a game in Tokyo in between, Sacramento and Portland. They're playing in Utah, for crying out loud.
There you go. Austin, okay, top 10 scorer, my man. At what expense? At what expense? Think about that for a day. Come back at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll talk about it.
1 o'clock tomorrow, 5 o'clock, 6:15, halftime, post-game show. Right here. This is where you want to be.
You know what, Grant?
It doesn't get any better than this.
Bill had to tell us it doesn't get any better than this. Right here.
What a difference a week makes, huh?
I
Doom
know.
and gloom last week. Now everybody's excited. See what
Yeah.
happens in pro sports? Things change. They change. Unless you're a fan of the New York Giants.
Oh man.
Third pick in the draft, Ryno.
Third pick. I know.
Because they decided they were going to win last week and they screwed up their draft. So we got the third pick. You could be worse. You could be a Patriots fan. They win their final game, and right after the post-game press conference, they fire their coach.
Well, at least they did it right after the game. At least he didn't run exit interviews first.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock, the King's Court. You got the rest of the schedule. Appreciate you. Keep that beam lit. Kings win. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.